Hello, everyone. It's time for Game Week 22. Game Week 21 gave us all a big headache. I had three City assets. None of them played. My captain blanked. Deer, he's played every single minute for Spurs, didn't play this one. But hey, they lost anyway. And somehow I still have a green arrow. So I guess there's not all hope to be lost. It was a very weird game week, though. Annie, how did you get along?
Well, if you look at my bench alone, like just as itself, that's 20 points on the bench. Dallas and Wilson. Um, it's very funny because I almost didn't pull off the Kane to DCL move, right? And Wilson was in my starting lineup. And then I'm like, you know what? Harry Kane doesn't work off and, decide he's not going to be able to carry on against Liverpool unless it's a little serious. So I didn't expect him to start at least two games. I made the move DCL for Kane, put Wilson on my bench. Wilson gets 13 points, right? My second sub was Kilman and not Dallas. So when Stones didn't play, Dallas was on the bench and Kilman came on for a solitary point. So, but then if you look at my team, 73 points with a -4, not that bad. I'm inside the top 2K. So
Wow.
I will still take that. But on another day, I could have had a 90 pointer. It hurts a little, but not as much. It still was a good week overall. Could have been worse. We've had people who played wildcards and got 20 points because like 8 players have not played,
Yeah.
right? The feel for those managers, by the way.
I saw one of those teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel for those
Yeah, I
managers,
did
honestly.
see one of those teams. It's crazy.
I really feel for those managers, honestly. Bad beat guys, like really bad one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Pep BS aside, I think we've survived this relatively okay compared to a lot of other people. And a quick turnaround time, actually, in this case, I think this week actually helps. It keeps away from the overthinking, I think, for me. Because there are quite a few simple moves lined up, or you roll a transfer for 23, the way I see it.
Well, let's get into those changes. I think we start with my team. Let's look at what I am doing. I made a knee-jerk reaction, very unlike me, but I just got in a change in. But hey, let's just jump into the team and take it from there. Right. So as you can see, that's my team for this game week. The transfer I have made is Martinez. I just got so frustrated. I think one of my worst transfers this season was bringing in McCarthy for Martinez. Not that McCarthy's been awful, but it's just that Martinez has been that great.
Yep.
I got him in when there was a blank game week for Martinez. I'm like, hey, you know what? Over a long period of time, I think he'll be fine. This, that, blah, blah, blah. But not working out. Did a knee-jerk reaction, Martinez, which in hindsight I probably would have held on if I had more time to think. Because as you can see, there's a good chance I don't even start Martinez this week. I would have rather, the bigger problem in my team right now is Dier, who is doing absolutely nothing. Second worst transfer of this season. The third being Mahrez, in case anyone cares. Dier for target would have probably been my move then. We'll figure out, but now I'm not sure whether I want to double up on Villa defense, right? But that's my team. The other concern, obviously, I have is Son. Not doing too much. I'm very tempted by a Barnes/Maddison move. I've always, sort of, not always, but at the start when the question was first asked, I was very pro Barnes because of the underlying stats. But then I know recently I said, hey, Maddison's getting the numbers, but the underlying stats shown through again, and Maddison got the returns. Barnes got the returns this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not so sure about that Son move. I would have probably done Son out. The only thing is next week they're playing West Brom, who have the highest XG conceded since Big Sam has come in, right? So I think I might then bank that one transfer this week because there's no clear big options available, right? If I want to get rid of Dier, suddenly Brighton are an option because they've had 3 consecutive clean sheets now. They're not been conceding big chances in those 3 games either, but they're playing Liverpool away this week. Although after that, clean run of fixtures. Chelsea similarly, not a good fixture this week, but then after that, good run of fixtures. Plus, not really sure with rotation what's happening, right? Rudiger does seem to be the standout pick as of now. Great option, sub 5, everything going for him, but you never know when that rotation is going to come in. So I'm going to wait another week and see what's happening there. Burnley as well, not the best fixture this week, but then after that, a clean run of fixtures. So might just roll the dice on this one with either Sufal or Suchek coming in for Deer, uh, and then just see get in 2 transfers for next week. With Vardy supposed to be back this weekend. Uh, Kane is not going to be fit this week, but he's back for City, which is 2 game weeks later if we count this one in. Right, so interesting times coming up. No real clear-cut opportunities anywhere. Uh, might have to hold and just keep my fingers crossed.
Right, Karn. The other thing over there, like I said, if you watch the Spurs versus Brighton game, right? Spurs were absolutely woeful. Woeful. They didn't seem to have an idea what's going on. Son barely was getting any touches. There was a couple of times in the game where he went through, but nowhere near what is happening with Harry Kane, right? Gareth Bale did start like I expected him to start. But I don't think Gareth Bale can be that player who can play on that wing anymore in the Premier League, who goes end to end for like 80, 90 minutes. I think they'll benefit if they play Bale up top at a centre forward, a Ronaldo-esque role, because he has those finishes in him. Let Son play where Son plays. Let Bergwijn, Mora be on the right, and then the team be the same, right? But till that happens, yeah, I would tell FPL managers to stay away from Spurs assets. Son, keep him till game week 23. No guarantee that Sam Allardyce won't pull off a masterstroke and beat them. But logically, I would say hold on till game week 23 if possible. Doesn't make sense taking him out just yet, right? We're not expecting Kane back, but yeah, I would still say hold on to Son. Hopefully, they do make changes up front, right? And secondly, Karn, we can also discuss the rotation risk, right? Pep has rotated out Cancelo, Stones, and Sterling. So all these players have got a rest. Logic dictates that even through Pep standards, he won't rotate them again. He does rotate them back. He immediately rotates them back, right? So you would be worried about if you're a Walker owner, you'd be worried about Walker this week. You'd be worried about Mendy and Zinchenko this week, right?
Or even Diaz for that matter. I know we're split on this, that you think Diaz is going to be the Maguire and the mainstay, but it's Pep.
It's Pep.
You never know what's going to happen. He might just play Stones and Laporte this week, or he might not. I'm honestly a little, because you talk about Pep rotation, I'm honestly a little relieved in a way, because now that I know that these three have got their rest, I know they're going to play. So that's where I'm going from. So I'm a little relieved that, hey, their rest is done. I didn't get a red arrow, luckily, while all three of them were rested somehow. I think all three of them are going to play now next couple of games at least.
All right, fair enough. I'll move on to my team now, and we can take a discussion ahead with like the strike force at least, right? Right. So let's start off with the strike force. That's where we've left it, right? Look, DCL has come in for Kane last week. A lot of managers made that move. People feel it was a knee-jerk reaction. Underlying numbers haven't been there. DCL has been poor. But like you said, Karn, right? But who? Leaving Kane on your bench for 4 game weeks. So it could just be 4 game weeks or just 2 weeks, right? And Kane could come back. But that's still 4 game weeks, right? And you can have a player coming in, even with a -4, making up for and getting those points, right? So DCL seemed like the obvious answer only because there is no Aguero still. He's now come back to training. Could we see him against Burnley? Possibly. Vardy, like you said already, is only back on the weekend. So that was no Vardy for 4 game weeks again almost. See? Who else to go for, right? So it's Watkins, Antonio. It's basically 7 and below apart from DCL. Wilson now, you would think that everyone now got him in their lineup. He's probably going to bomb and get 2 points again. But the hope is there. I'll be leaving him in this week in my team at least, because Palace have been woeful defensively too. Quite bad. Bamford had a knock towards the end of the game, but he, while speaking in the end, also said probably another dead leg. Son, as you can see, is on my bench right now. I'm not going to leave him there. It's just an anger move I made at that point. But I do eventually see myself getting Son into the side. And I think I'm going to roll the dice this week and going to move Bamford to my bench. Hopefully, I don't regret that move. But coming to the strike force again, Bamford 6.6 now, Calvert-Lewin 7.6, Wilson 6.7, and Watkins I think is 6.3, Antonio 6.4. If you're thinking of getting in one of these strikers this week, you just have to look at the fixtures Villa have, right, Karn? Villa seem to be having the better fixtures over there. Watkins, thanks to Grealish, looks threatening this season, right? So if you don't have Villa players still, I think Grealish in your midfield firstly is a good pick. Uh, I've gone for Maddison, right? I had a choice between Maddison and Grealish. I went for Maddison. Not worked out, but yeah, could have been better. Grealish has gotten more points over the last 2 game weeks. So if you're like Karn mentioned, if you're struggling with the Barnes, Maddison, Aston Villa, Zaha, look at the Leicester fixtures first, right here. So they play Fulham and Wolves. Fulham, good fixture, obviously. Maddison and Barnes, both good picks, but like Karn said, underlying numbers, Maddison, Barnes is just a bit ahead right now. They have Liverpool in 24, but then look at the run from 25 to 29. Arsenal seems to be the only tricky game for them. And we're assuming by the time Wolves or Liverpool come around, they will be with Jamie Vardy in this squad. I'm going to move on to the transfer page so we can help each other more, and I'll see what possible moves I could make this week. I am going to most likely start Johnston as well. So I'm not going to go with McCarthy. Yeah, I'm not going to go with McCarthy. I'm just hoping against hope in that one, I think, as a United fan. But yeah. So yeah, let's look at Grealish, right? Grealish has gone up to 7.8. West Ham, Arsenal, Brighton, Leicester, Leeds, Wolves, Newcastle, Sheffield, Fulham. I know Leicester has a red mark here, but the kind of form they are in right now, I don't think the Leicester game could be a tough one for them. So I have 1 to 3 transfer left, right? Option 1, don't make a transfer, roll it for the weekend. What if outside chance Kane is back? Vardy could be back. What if I move around where I keep Son for West Brom, right? Second option is have a look at the likes of Maddison. I know it's only been 2 game weeks, it's Fulham. Maybe I'll upgrade Maddison to Grealish. That's one of my options. My second option is a simpler one. Although I don't prefer it because I've gotten Pereira for these game weeks. I think Sheffield is the last one I'm going to keep him in my squad for because it's a good run of fixtures for him, right? And he got the returns last week against Fulham. Fellow relegation candidates and all. So I would leave him in for this one. I would consider Pereira for Souček and get Souček back into my squad. Only because I still see him being a good threat. And if I just pull up Cresswell fixtures here, it's Villa, Fulham, Sheffield in the next 3. Great run of fixtures again. You could see Souček being an aerial threat there. And at 5.3, that price point, definitely not a problem at all. Apart from that, could I leave my midfield as it is and roll a transfer in my striking force? No, not this week. I think I rolled at -4 with Calvert-Lewin. Anyone else was Calvert-Lewin? Hold. Yes, his fixtures are not the best after Leeds. It's United, Fulham, Liverpool, Southampton, Chelsea, Burnley, West Brom. So it gets a little better in 28, but I would say hold him for 1 more week, just see how he does. It's Leeds. We said that about Leicester as well. Leicester had chances. They didn't finish the chances. Calvert-Lewin, if but nothing, is clinical with the limited chances he gets something on goal, right? So I would say hold on this week. Same with the likes of Bamford. If you've not taken him out already, I would say hold. But if that yellow mark bothers you, definitely Antonio is the one to get in at 6.4 there. I would not say get in Wilson this week. Not even Watkins. I would say consider getting Grealish in your midfield. And if you're already Martinez, I think keep 2 Villa players. And eventually, like Karn said, roll the dice on a matching target in defense. At his price point would be better served in the long run, keeping that striking area empty for a rotation of the budget strikers with the fixture that come and go. Just pulling up the Leeds fixtures one more time so that if anyone has a doubt there, it's Everton, Palace, Arsenal, Wolves, Aston Villa, West Ham, 27. Not the worst there again, apart from Chelsea. It's Fulham, Sheffield. Which is why I say, yes, at last week, I said it, I wanted to move Bamford out, but I had a Kane issue. I had the midfield issue. I had so many issues already, I just couldn't make that move, right? In the end, it worked out. The way I saw it was Karn either had Wilson on the bench with 13 or it was going to be Bamford on the bench with 15. I guess I got 2 more points by playing Bamford. That's how it was going to be for me either way.
Yeah.
But essentially, that's what I see happening so far. These are the moves I'll be making. I'm going to be making defensive changes this week. I will leave it as it is. Worry about Diaz being rested, obviously. But I have Cresswell, Stones, and then Dallas will be on my bench. So Dallas should come on and hopefully save the day for me in case that happens.
Yeah, the interesting one there is the strikers, right? I had Sahil Shah and a couple of other people message me as well. What do we do with Kane? There are a lot of people who held on to Kane,
He just
just
messaged me
thinking it
as
might
well.
be like
He just messaged Sahil Shah, if you're watching this, stop spamming us in the recording.
he basically, a lot of people have held on to Kane, right? With that hope that you don't know if Mourinho is doing a Mourinho and he's just going to start him. But now he's confirmed he's out for a couple of weeks. What do you do with him? And honestly, there's no easy answer there because Bamford and Wilson were on their way out, but then now they've got the returns in, right? Wilson, we saw in the post match, it was broken down a lot on all the forums where Newcastle are starting to play a new style. Steve Bruce wants them to start pressing up high, right? And that's benefited Wilson a lot, right? Instead of just sitting back, Bruce said yes, they might do that in a few games where they have to, but their primary move is going to start pressing up high, which is going to help Wilson. Maximin is supposed to start now this week, which again should benefit Wilson a lot. So where if you see it over the last loads of game weeks, uh, yes, Wilson still does not make sense over the last 6-7, but you want to be looking forward as well, right? So this game week he did well. He could have easily got a couple of more goals, uh, and he the playing style, the new playing style, if that does continue for Newcastle, the fixtures aren't too bad. Uh, I think Wilson is still a punt that I think I might just hold on to because there's no clear cut opportunity, right? It's not like you have anyone who's screaming out at this moment. So
That's why I
I'd say
said
Wilson, if you have
Antonio.
him, hold on to him, take a risk with him. Or, if you have the likes of Antonio, which is why, I was just saying the forwards, there's no clear cut really thing there because all of them are at that point where like, hold out there one more game week and you'll see the best options maybe clear up a bit. But Wilson is the one that I'm a little interested in seeing because Bamford, we know he'll get those chances week in, week out. He'll miss a few, he'll get a few, whatever. Wilson, there's a structure change that is happening at Newcastle right now, which may benefit him, right? So I'm just interested to see what happens there.
Right. I think that's why I said for this week, like you said rightly, Crystal Palace, a game worth keeping him for. No reason, like I said,
Yeah,
if you haven't made the moves, people ask you, but you said you should take him out. Yeah, fair enough. But now if you've not taken him out, now it's the other way around, right? So if you've
keep
taken him
him.
out, your other
Yeah,
players who got in, Antonio's still a better bet over all these three, right? Karn, even over Bamford till last week,
yeah,
he was a better bet because the way even West Ham are playing now, he's the focal point of getting those goals for them up top, right?
yeah,
So we're not saying those moves are bad. Just best thing to do, like Karn and I say sometimes, take a beat, don't make that move. Take the finger off the button
yeah.
and just have a look at it the way we do. Uh,
Yeah,
Karn,
having those two transfers the next game week is such a blessing, dude. And just the last point on the strikers bit. Suppose you do roll your dice with Wilson this week, as you said, not a bad fixture. You can always bring in Antonio next week, right? They have Villa away this game week, which is not. Which could go either way, but Villa are looking good defensively in
mhm,
general, which is why
mhm,
Martinez is such a good asset, right?
yeah,
And then after that, West Ham have Fulham away and Sheffield United at home. So you can always do that Antonio move next week, which is what I'm looking at. I'll probably roll either one of Bamford or Wilson for Antonio next week because of fixtures that are coming up. So I'm just saying, take into account the next 2-3 game weeks as well. Don't just look at one game week. Don't just do that knee-jerk reaction. There are a few good options out there depending on who you have and who you want to bring in. If you play it smart, it can all go on really well.
yep. Moving on to Zaha, right? And we've spoken about him in and out of our FPL season. Pretty much, I think in every episode he's been mentioned somewhere somehow. 9 goals, 3 assists for him, right? Not the worst at all. He's missed a couple of games through injury. Newcastle away, Leeds away, Burnley home, Brighton away, Fulham home. Great run of fixtures. Like I said in the previous episode, not the previous episode, the one for game week 20, even if they lose, he gets in a goal, right? Like against the West Ham game. Kern, is there merit to just keep Zaha in your team? 15% owned, right? Over Maddison, over a Grealish, over a Barnes, because that's the slot he would take, right? So it's either Maddison, Barnes, Grealish, Zaha. Is it worth just keeping Zaha in your team? There are games like the ones against Wolves where they beat Wolves, but he was not in the points, right? He's always a guy who
Yeah,
creates that space because of his flair and somebody else chips in. What do you do with Zaha?
yeah,
I think still, I know I've been unfair to him, but I still think the likes of Grealish, Barnes, are a better option, or Maddison. But what's your take?
Yeah, I think with Zaha, the thing is, if you bring him into your team, bring him in with the thought that you are okay with him not scoring maybe for a couple of weeks and getting that points in the third game week, where because he's not a 20, 25, 30% owned player, you get a sort of mini differential,
Mm-hmm.
right? The fixtures are there for Palace, but they're not the most free scoring team. And while we say the fixtures are there, these are also teams that can keep clean sheets, right? Leeds can keep clean sheets. Burnley have definitely showed up. Brighton, as we spoke earlier, have showed up in the last 3 game weeks. Fulham, again, under Scott Parker, have been doing well defensively. Great pictures on paper, no doubt. But I'm just saying, someone like a Crystal Palace, am I seeing them guaranteed scoring in these games? Not necessarily. Uh, you know, just because of the form just because that's how they have been this season, uh, right? They've sort of blown hot and cold. They've not been very explosive going front. So Zaha is definitely a very intriguing option. Only if you're sort of okay, maybe with going couple of game weeks without a goal and then him getting that in, which could easily be the case with the likes of your Grealish, Maddison, Barnes, because they don't have as good a fixture run as Palace do, right? So it's just sort of about that balance. But Annie, as you said, if it were me, uh, I would still be taking, as of now, the likes of Grealish over Zaha.
100%. And even this applies to the managers who don't want to be patient with Son. So he's had another price drop overnight, right? He's back down to 9.7. He's been doing 9.7, 8.7 for the last 2 game weeks. If you want to pull like if you thought Spurs are that bad, and I worry for Spurs against Chelsea, and you want to roll the dice, you could then possibly, if you already have Grealish or a Maddison or a Barnes already, then maybe getting in Zaha for a Son there could work out because Son's underlying numbers aren't that great. I think in the last 8 games, they've only won two. Son's got just the assist in the last four. I think a goal and assist against Leeds before that, but they've not been the best, right? There is merit there that you can maybe also bring in both these kind of players in your squad, have two of them. I would still say maybe avoid that, keep him in for West Brom game. KDB might be back towards game week 24. You could then use Son to upgrade back to KDB at that point, right? Go on and work out with your strikers, then make that move right now. But you can also, on the flip side, do Zaha slash Grealish on your side at the same time. So let's move on to the question everyone asks us every week. And I've got a few of these this week as well. What about Manchester United? Even though they've been that poor, is that worth getting in their defenders in your squad with the fixture run? I'm again going to say, I know they get a clean sheet against Arsenal. I'm still going to say there is still slightly better merit elsewhere. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I repeat the same thing I said last week. Defensively, just can't trust them, and it's not like you have any cheap assets available, right? I mean, right now, if you have to pick defenders five and above, City have three defenders to choose from. Choose two, right? So that's your two defensive slots gone right there. Even if you take just one, Cresswell is someone you really want to bring in. I have Sufal, so I'm not going Cresswell, but otherwise I'd love to have Cresswell in my team. Um, you keep that's probably three slots done right there with your two City and a Cresswell, right? Uh, you then possibly look at a Robertson or a Trent Alexander-Arnold. With Liverpool signing a couple of centre backs, it'll be interesting to see how they come in. If any of those two, what prices they come in at, whether they become viable options over the next couple of weeks. We see that, right? Then you have Chelsea, who are very capable of keeping clean sheets. Um, we'll need to see who are their defenders starting, and then those options come in. Uh, Dallas, I know, is not the biggest, the most reliable pick, but again, I think as a rotation defender, he's great to have. I think what I'm trying to say, there's just so many good options out there. Then you have the likes of your Matt Target as well. Who are your sub 5? There are so many good options available. I'm just not convinced on United defensive assets because their price point. And the only one you can sort of go in confidently is Harry Maguire or Van Bissaka, right?
So
They're
I
the
was
only
about to
ones
tell
who
you that,
aren't really
yeah.
rotation risk.
Maguire and Van Bissaka,
So
5.5, 5.4. At 5.5, 5.4, and that's the price bracket you're looking at. You mentioned City. The City players get you attacking returns as well, right? Okay, now Cancelo,
Yeah,
Diaz have gone up to 6, so it's a little tough. Let's go down to the likes of a Kilman. Sorry, not Kilman, a Cresswell. Cresswell at 5.5 right now.
yeah,
Top points in terms of a defender for this FPL season so far.
incredible.
Still getting you those assists. Okay. Go on to what you said about the likes of now your sub fives and below. Target getting you some assist points right there. Shaw even at 4.8, Lindelof at 4.8, right? The two players that you have up after that. So not getting you goals and not getting you assists. You just want players bankable to get you consistent clean sheet. Yes, okay. Argument is in the last five they've kept three clean sheets. I think it was Burnley, Liverpool, and Arsenal. There is some merit that okay, they're actually keeping a few more clean sheets this year in the class 2 game weeks. Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Newcastle, the next four could keep a clean sheet against West Brom, possibly Newcastle, even possibly Southampton, Everton. I'm not so sure. So if you do want to go for it, sure, I would say go for the likes of Shaw at 4.8. I would still say hold on to that zero point 0.7 in your bank for your midfield or your strikers.
I'm still not convinced. Although the fixture run is great, I'd love to bring another United asset in. Unfortunately, not sold on it.
All right, so let's quickly move on then to Chelsea team discussion and then our differentials, captain picks, and end of this shoot. Uh, Again, same question we've been asked or already covered Chilwell for you in detail, right? Chilwell at 6.1 in your squad, leave him. Unlikely he'll be dropped against Spurs. He was only rotated to give the likes of Alonso a chance. Tuchel wants all the players to have a go in the team to give them fair chances, right? Alonso, though, did get a goal. Aspilicueta, though, did get a goal. So, and Aspilicueta has started the games under him, right? Is it fair to say that both the games he started, Wolves and Burnley, got those points, 7 and 15? So, Karn mentioned Rudiger already, 4.5. He's at 4.5 right now. If you do want to get in a Chelsea asset, you want to go differentially right now, build a bit on what's happening. Rudiger 4.5, Aspilicueta 5.6 are still the safer options over going for Alonso, who's at the same price as Aspilicueta. If you have Chilwell, though, hold on for another week or two. I don't see him being completely removed from the system because the kind of system that they played against, Chilwell would have thrived as well as under Alonso, right? Anything you add about the Chelsea assets? Again, we've covered this already. That give it another week and then make the most for your Pulisic, Werners, etc., right?
Yeah, hold on for a week for sure, especially the attacking assets we as well, right? There's absolutely no clue. I think he said, with Ziyech, there was a case where his medical staff told him, he probably cannot play more than 30 minutes. He's not used to playing such intense games so often, right? He's not used to that. So they said, just take the entire day off. Should be back in contention, but new manager in loads of attacking options. I'm sure he's going to tell everyone that, earn your place. No one's just going to get in on merit.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's looked like so far. Alonso, as you said, yes, Chilwell should go back in, but very interestingly, he said, I got an Alonso for Chile, as he like to call Chilwell for some reason. Going the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer nickname route, just for the height. He wanted more aerial presence, right? So interesting thing there. But despite scoring a goal, does Alonso get dropped? Chilwell should ideally probably come back in because he has been a consistent performer for Chelsea this season, right? So confusing times at Chelsea. Good thing is we have one more game week to figure out. Not like Spurs is screaming out. If you have an asset,
Exactly.
keep them. But yeah, as Annie said, Aspilicueta and Rudiger, the ones to keep right now. If you have them, good options to have. I wouldn't mind having Aspilicueta in my team right now, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to differentials now, Karn. And, we spoke about Pereira already. I'm going to still keep him as a differential this week because he's still 2% owned against Sheffield. But I would also then move on to the likes of Aaron Saint-Maximin. He is back. Ryan Fraser is doubtful for this game. So you do see him starting this game. 5.1, good fixture. He's got his rest. Crystal Palace, Southampton, 2 fixtures. You do see them doing well. They are in kind of a relegation fight. Then there is a gap right now, thanks to the win that they got. But they'll want to maximize and keep a bigger distance between them come March, right? So I would say Saint-Maximin for me, along with the likes of Pereira.
Nice. My differential this week is easy. When I say easy, I mean easy.
Easy. Okay.
uh, good run of pictures coming up. He does seem to get that odd goal in, less than 1% owned. Uh, I think he's worth a shout, because we spoke earlier about Zaha, right? And at that price point, you have so many other options, and you never know if Crystal Palace are going to score this week, not score this week. Why not go for an option that won't hurt your bank?
All right. Captain picks quickly. I would, for me, still say I know Brighton have been looking good. They struggled against Brighton earlier in the season. Liverpool did. But we saw last week, right, even without the presence of a defense, maybe West Ham gave them too much respect. But Mo hit form, got the double, two great goals. Great finishing, both those goals, right? I think it would be safer to captain Salah this week. Outside of that, if you're looking elsewhere, Wilson against Palace, not the worst bet.
Yeah, Salah, the captain pick for me as well. I know the armband right now is on Sterling, and that's uh, just there because I think I left it from last week.
Yeah.
I do expect City to do well against Burnley with the players rested coming back. I think last week Pep was frustrated with how little they were attacking in the last few minutes. Yeah, and I think we will see that change right now. I don't think they're going to settle for a 1-0 like they did against Sheffield. I think they will, go for a couple of more if they find themselves in a position of being comfortably 1-0 up. Uh, so Sterling would be my second option, but Salah will be the first. And I'm saying that, but I think if Salah is my captain, I'll probably just put the vice captain on Bruno, because I just think he's overdue now. Right?
Yeah.
We saw Salah overdue, and then he came in and he sort of now is hitting for his stride again. I think it's going to be the same thing for Bruno. I think he's going to be chomping at the bits to get some goals in. Uh, Vice captain pick Bruno for me.
There is a bit about the home form of Manchester United this season. Hopefully, they do get the win for one reason more than the other. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into this episode. We really appreciate your support. Don't forget to subscribe on the channel if you already haven't subscribed to this. Leave all your questions and queries in the comment section. We'll be happy to get back to you like you've seen in our previous videos. Also, you can hit us up on our social media, Instagram and Twitter handles as well. Also, our personal Twitter, if you've been following us. Thank you so much again for all the support. I'm going to say it again. And we hope you have a great game week. We'll see you in game week 23.
Best of luck, guys.